have to deal with nested objects like your to-do list. You're going to want to watch for the validation of each of your nested guys. So when somebody says, are you valid, check my top level for validity, and then check the guys I own for validity as well. Okay, that would actually be a good topic for me to do talk on at some point. You know, walk through some examples of here's how you can do some validation. I'll see if I can squeeze it in somewhere. Any other questions?
How do you deal with like a database and then objects modeling that database? Do you change both of them at the same time?
So the question is, how do you deal with a database and objects modeling that the object representing the stuff in that database? Do you change them both at the same time, or do you change them independently? I'm going to throw a big that depends at that. One thing I did recently on Android is I set up some shell objects that had actually no data fields in them at all. And every one of the getters and setters wrote to the database. It actually changed fields in the database directly, which when I tried it at first, I thought it was going to be crazy slow. It actually performs really, really well, at least on somewhat newish hardware. And so I left it. And what that bought me in that particular example is as the user makes changes, boom, it's persisted to the database. If there's a bug and something crashes, all your changes up to that point have been saved. You don't have to worry about that. One of the things that is a little dangerous for is when you make a change, the change is there. The user didn't have a chance to make some changes and say, okay. I mean, the big advantage there is you don't have to have an okay button, right? You don't have to have a save button. Things are saved as you do them. But the user doesn't have to have a chance to say, ooh, I didn't like that. So I implemented undo in the application. So every change that I made is also tracked so I can undo the change. And that took care of it really nicely. So now the user doesn't even really have to think. They just change fields on the